Hey everyone, Brian here at Vintage Classic Specialist. Happy Friday to everyone. It is time for another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So let me start off with this beauty. Need to call the owner because it's pretty much done, or at least it will be in the morning. Only thing I need to do is I need to take it on one more quick test drive, and I need to straighten out his steering wheel. I did end up adjusting the steering box some more. If you watch the channel, you know I was fiddling with it the other day. And I think I managed to take up a little bit more play in the steering box, which, by the way, is a new steering box that we got from Wolfsburg West. I think we put it in last year sometime, late last year. And it was an improvement over the original steering box that was in the car, but still has a little slop in it. So anyway, managed to dial a little bit of that out with the screw on the steering box. Usually when you do that, though, what I found is that it'll actually change the sort of clocking of the steering wheel a little bit. So not too much, but enough that I want to go ahead and adjust the steering box. So anyway, yeah, this morning I started off on this car, got the front end up in the air where I could see what was going on under there. If you follow the channel, or you have been following the channel for a while, you know that his impy beam, which is an adjustable type, actually slipped at some point and kind of lowered itself pretty bad, because the teeth on their adjusters at least used to be pretty bad, and yeah, they literally slipped. So when the car was in last time, again a few months ago, I kind of filed or ground the teeth on those adjusters to get them to engage a little bit better. And then just to be safe, I threw a couple tack welds on each adjuster. And so he just asked me to kind of check it because he thought that he hit a big bump or something and it might have gone lower. Anyway, it's exactly where I put it with the teeth, the kind of improved teeth, and then a couple tack welds on each adjuster. So that was fine. Kind of checked out the steering while I was underneath there to make sure that there was, nothing else going on that would cause a little bit of play in the steering system. Yeah, I didn't see anything. It's just a steering box. And again, it's not bad. I'll show you guys here. So the play it's about that much. So it's not too bad for a Volkswagen. Obviously, none is better, but that's not too bad. And again, the steering box is, essentially brand new. It's literally like a few months old. So anyway, yeah, I kind of started the day off checking out the front suspension and stuff on here. And what else? Took it for a pretty good test drive, got it good and warmed up. And so I had previously done an oil change on it, and I had checked the carb sync, at least as far as the linkage is concerned. But today got it good and warmed up, and then went and checked the actual airflow at idle. It was pretty much spot on. I think I increased the airflow slightly on the left side. I mean, I don't think it was off enough that it would even have been perceptible, but of course I aim for perfection. So yeah, tweaked that one a tiny bit. Other than that, yeah, the linkage sync is good. The airflow was almost dead nuts. The other thing, though, that I noticed, guys, when I took it for a drive was I started hearing like a kind of a metallic rubbing sound, like a rubbing, almost like rubbing and a little bit of rattling. I don't know. It was kind of a weird sound. So brought the car back, and first thing I did was I pulled the fan belt, thinking that maybe it was something on the fan assembly. Pulled that, fired it up briefly, still making the same sound. So started kind of sticking my head back in here, and I noticed, of course it's not like that now, but I noticed that the tin in front, or on the engine side of the pulley, and the pulley were actually touching. And I think we had that issue before on this car, and or at some point, and I basically, this car has one of those sort of like, I don't know, not full flow adapter, but it has one of those oil pump covers that has the kind of adapter coming off it, and then a screw-on oil filter. So that oil filter sits about there, which of course I changed during the oil change too. But anyway, sometimes those filter oil pump covers actually can push this pulley tin, push it out like toward the pulley. So what I did at some point on this car was I actually ground the body of that oil pump cover a little bit to help help that tin, you know, sit more flat back in there, because again, that oil pump cover was literally like pushing that tin into the pulley. So this was like months ago, and it was fine. So this time, I guess what happened is one of the screws, so there's a screw roughly there and one there behind the pulley, of course, that hold that piece of tin in, and then it bolts to some of the other tin and a couple other places. Anyway, hold on. All right, sorry about that. Somebody's alarm was kind of going off. Anyway, so one of those screws had somehow backed itself out, and that allowed that tin to kind of move toward the pulley, and so that was rubbing on the back side of the pulley. So pulled the pulley, pulled this rear tin, pulled that pulley tin, and straightened it out a little bit, and then put it back in, and put Loctite on those two screws this time, which normally we don't do, but I don't know why that one worked itself out. That's pretty weird, because always, of course, we tighten them as much as humanly possible, but anyway, those two screws have Loctite on them now, so hopefully that will not be an issue again. But yeah, so that was that noise, and he had mentioned the noise, and so that seemed to be the source of that. I thought initially that the source of that noise, and this could have been another noise, but the other day I showed you guys this, one of the hangers for his dual quiet pack mufflers, one of those hangers had broke. So these are supposed to be, these two pieces are supposed to be welded together. You can kind of see the weld right there. So anyway, one of those had broke, and so the muffler on this side wasn't really supported, and so I was kind of assuming the noise he mentioned was probably that muffler vibrating a little bit, and maybe it was, but so that was one potential thing, and then this one certainly was making some noise. So took care of all the noise. Should be nice and quiet now. Well, quiet except for the nice throaty exhaust of dual Webers, the nice throaty sound of dual Webers, and the nice sound of dual quiet packs. It's a really great sounding car. Not too loud, nice mellow tone, but still, you know, aggressive enough to where people notice. Anyway, so I think that was pretty much what I did on this car today. So again, other than just straightening out his steering wheel, which I'll probably do in the morning, I guess I need to call him and let him know he can come get it. So when I do an episode tomorrow, this car might be gone. So that's why I wanted to put it on the the thumbnail for today's video, and make sure I spend some time kind of going over the car. So love this car, super proud of how this one came out. Owner loves it, and again, the car, like everywhere it goes, people are wanting to take pictures of it and stuff like that. So it's just a really fun car, and yeah, everyone that sees it loves it. Anyhow, so that was kind of my morning, and then after that, did a little bit on our tennis ball here. What I did was I pulled out his sport wheels. So they have all 4 sport wheels and the spare. Somehow, guys, in my mind, he didn't have a spare for this, which is just totally dumb. I don't know why I thought that. But when I started digging out his wheels the other day, he had all 5. So I don't know what I was thinking, because I was actually trying to source a sport wheel for a spare for him. And then when I really actually looked, he had all 5. So I don't know, guys. I have a lot of cars rattling around in my brain, and sometimes it's hard to keep track of things. Anyway, so his 5 wheels went over to powder coating today, and they will be silver, which is the correct color for them. And then, of course, we'll pick out some appropriate tires, and it won't be too long, guys. And this thing is going to be sitting on its feet. Can't wait to see that. And if you've been following the channel, you know that the motor, if I can get back here, the motor for that car is very nearly done. Maybe maybe this coming week, this motor will be done. We'll go ahead and plug it in. So anyway, other than getting those ready and taking them to powder coating, I did get back to this pup here, which is also almost ready to go in. So it looks about like it did yesterday in yesterday's video and yesterday's thumbnail. However, all the stuff that you see on the motor is actually on it for realsies now. Yesterday, carburetor was just sitting there, air cleaner was just sitting there. There were no hard fuel lines, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, today went ahead and installed the carburetor for real. And of course, it's a support bracket. I know it sounds like a 30-second job to install the support bracket, but I did have to kind of tweak the bends to get it to sit in there nicely and stuff like that. So yeah, everything's always more time consuming than you'd think it would be, because again, I did have to bend it on both ends to get it to sit in there really nice instead of just slap it on there and kind of hope for the best. Again, fuel lines, this one I still need to get a grommet where it goes through the front engine tin, not a big deal. But so these hard lines come from Wolfsburg West. They come pretty perfect as far as their shape, but they always need some fine tuning to get them to really fit perfect. And in fact, this one I think I probably shortened by maybe ½ inch or so, kind of like, you know, guys, when we do wiring and stuff like that. I mean, the Wolfsburg West wiring harnesses are great. They're amazing. But a lot of times, you know, we're sort of aiming for perfection. We'll cut ½ inch off a wire to get it to just, you know, route that much nicer or so sometimes more than ½ inch. But my point being that, yeah, taking ½ inch off this really got it to lay in there nicely and stuff like that. Likewise, this one I also took about ½ inch off, and I had to kind of massage the bends a little bit to get it to go in there nice and be, you know, sort of like perpendicular to its respective fittings. Because if you try and put these things in and they're at any kind of angle, forget about it, guys. You are going to be struggling. So always when I go to put these in, I spend a lot of time making sure that the lines are like pretty much dead nuts, perpendicular to the fuel pump, perpendicular to the carb where they go in before I start trying to put the nuts and the ferrules on them. And then at that point, they go in super easy. Likewise, and this one is way more challenging, and it's a much harder line to work with, the vacuum line for the Vacuum Advanced Distributor. So it also comes from Wolfsburg West, and it's pre-formed. And it's like, if you kind of squint, it looks kind of like the right shape, but then you go and start trying to put it in and it's really far off. So spent quite a bit of time sort of massaging this line to get it to plug in both in the carburetor and the vacuum pot here. And of course, you know, clear everything back in here. So yeah, this line's a pain in the ass. This one, honestly, it's not really that much fun. It really takes a lot of wrestling of it and again, trying to aim for having it going like, you know, very straight here, very straight into here and stuff like that. Because again, if that thing's trying to go at an angle and you're trying to screw these fittings in or whatever, forget about it. You're not going to be very fortunate. So again, all the time that you spend getting these lines, the vacuum line, the fuel lines, getting these things to like lay in there and be aligned and stuff before you go and put the nuts on them and the ferrules is time well spent. Anyway, that's enough of that. But yeah, so carb, what else? Adjusted the points today, which I kind of assumed that this rebuilt distributor from VW NOS would have come with the points adjusted, but they weren't. They were in there loose. So glad I checked it. We always check everything, but I had kind of assumed they'd be adjusted. They weren't. They were, in fact, a little loose in there. So if you buy a distributor from our friends at VW NOS, make sure you adjust your points, because if, like mine, they are not adjusted. Anyway, adjusted those, set the static timing, and because I actually did all that before I put this line in, because this line is somewhat sensitive to the clocking of the distributor, because again, you know, as you rotate the distributor, it kind of changes the angle of this thing here. So got the static timing set about where I thought it should be, and then and only then went and started tweaking this line to get it to fit in there nice. So so there you go, guys. I think about the only thing left on this motor is I do have to wire from the distributor to the coil. This doesn't have a gasket in it. Got to put the grommet right there. Other than that, I still need to blacken this nut and put it in, or bolt rather. I think that may be it, guys. So yeah, hopefully this thing will be going in its car, this beauty, probably next week. I don't really see any reason not. I may go ahead and like fire it up on the test stand here, just to like double check everything before it goes in the car. But again, we didn't build the long block. There was a running motor that ran really good and everything. This is purely a cosmetic detailing, and of course we put the correct distributor on it, which it didn't have, with the vacuum advance, and then, you know, rebuilt the carb and stuff like that. So it should run really good, but probably go ahead and fire this thing up on the test stand before it goes in the car. Guys, I think that is it. I don't have anything to show you at the moment on the green Karmann Ghia, but Santiago was working on its upholstery all day, and likewise Renee was working on final blocking of the 70 Ghia. We're probably talking about painting it in a week, so coming up very, very soon. Very excited about that. And so that's it, guys. So thank you all very much for watching, and I will be in tomorrow, so please look for a Saturday episode. Thanks again. Bye.